Welcome to Irreplaceable by AI, where we spotlight work that technology can't replace. Today's guest is Ken Altenbach, an executive and leadership coach who helps high-performing leaders cut through the noise, reconnect with their purpose, and lead with clarity and confidence. Ken is a former United States Air Force Staff Sergeant turned senior corporate leader with over 40 years of experience in military and business leadership. And now he runs his own coaching practice, supporting CEOs, founders, and executives through high-pressure decisions and major transitions. Also, for 19 years, Ken was managing a plant at Dempsey Uniform Linen in Pennsylvania. He holds an associate and applied science in business management and completed executive management training through the TRSA Executive Management Institute and is triple certified as a professional coach, including credentials from the Institute of Insight Coaching and Heroic Public Benefit Corporation. Beyond his coaching practice, Ken has delivered hundreds of gifted coaching sessions, led leadership and team-building programs across corporate, educational, and community settings, and has been active with organizations such as Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and regional leadership initiatives. Please welcome Ken Altenbach.
Hey, Nadir, how are you? Thanks for having me on your podcast today. I'm really excited to be sharing our insights with one another. So I'm ready to go for it.
And I'm excited to have you as a guest on this podcast. And we've been knowing each other for quite some time, and I'm sure that the wider audience, the people listening to our podcast, they will really have a lot of things to learn from your knowledge and from your vast experience. And the first thing I would like to start in our podcast is with the trade, what we call trade debrief. So let's deep dive into the current trends and cases, what the things happening with the coaching, with the leadership coaching. So nowadays, U.S. business coaching market is estimated around 20 billion, and most professional coaches now sit somewhere in the business leadership bucket. So from your industry, from your perspective inside the industry, does it feel like opportunity or overcrowding? And how do you actually stand out in that noise?
So that's a beautiful question. So when I'm talking to the high executives, they have a similar question, what makes you different? And I'll explain, what I do. If you are searching for any kind of coach, executive, life, career, nutritional, holistic, anything like that whatsoever. And if you're interested in doing that, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to jump on the internet and you're going to start shopping around. And when you shop around, you're going to just come up with all these coaches in the same category that you're searching for. So you got to determine, hey, how do I know who the best one's going to be for me? You can't just base it off price and price alone. Because if you're basing off any of your coaching needs on price alone, then you're not really doing your homework. Meaning that if you're looking for price and price alone, then coaching really is not, it doesn't matter to you. Okay. So what I do and what sets me apart, I don't want to be in that red herring category where I'm an executive and leadership coach. There's multitudes of us out there. So what sets me apart is this. If you go on my website or if you do any research for me, and or even if you get on a call with me and you ask me how much I cost, I'm not going to give you an answer because every person shows up with me is different. They have different concerns, even though they might be in the same career. They might be a CEO, COO, CFO, whatever here. They have different concerns, every single one of them. This is not a cookie cutter industry out there. So you won't find pricing on my website. You won't find pricing on Facebook. You won't find pricing on LinkedIn. What I do to set myself apart from everybody else is I don't sell my coaching to you. I give you the experience of my coaching, where I offer you a few coaching sessions with me so you get to see my coaching, you get to experience my coaching, and then you make a decision. Hey, yeah, this is what I was looking for. I don't have to worry about people. I don't have to worry about Ken trying to charge me. I don't have to worry about that at all. If we do the coaching, after 2, 3, 4, maybe coaching sessions that I provide, I'll ask the question if this is something that you want to do to continue forward. And if I have you on for 3 or 4 calls, I know right then and there that it's been worth it to you. I have not come across anybody that just decided after 4, 3, maybe even 5 coaching sessions with me here, "Oh, thank you very much. I feel better. I know what I'm doing. I'm moving on." I always uh, wind up having a clients from that whatsoever. So that's what sets me apart. I'm not going to sell it to you. I'm going to give you the experience. That's the only way you're going to make a decision and see if it's right for you.
This is really great approach, because I think from the latest uh, International Coaching Federation data, uh, they say most companies that measure return on investment on coaching see a positive return, but a
Mhm.
lot of leaders still think of coaching as soft. And I think in the beginning there is kind of like challenge. I mean, without the trying, it's kind of like challenge to prove to many of those leaders the hard return on these
Mhm.
investments. But still, it's a question out there. How do you think you could prove the impact beyond client testimonials? Do you also have kind of those other metrics, or
Mhm.
any of your clients gave you this kind of feedback that, okay, because of your coaching, I managed to increase my sales, and this is like hard
Mhm.
evidence.
Mhm. So that's another great question here. With me, or if you even inquire with me about what this is all about, no, dear, I just want to explain. And this is reason, when people are interested and I'm making that offer, I offer for them to come on a connect call with me first, to talk about it, what this looks like, what is this going to wind up being. And I am different from a business coach. Business coaches are sort of like consultants. They go out there, they evaluate your business, they evaluate your sales team, they evaluate your marketing, they evaluate where you're at and where you might be struggling at it, and make recommendations and go out there and say, okay, your marketing needs to change, or you need to hire so many salespeople and you need to charge this amount here. That's not what I do, okay? So that's why I do a connect call for people to understand that I'm coaching you, I'm not coaching your business. And if I'm coaching you, and if what you ever you come into the coaching call with me, if I'm helping you, you're going to take it back to your business, okay? Let's just say, listen, I have problems. I E even personally, I don't know how to get to the next level. I'm a president. I wanna get to become a CEO, or the next higher director or whatever here, and I'm not sure how to do that here. Well, I don't know what's holding me back. That's where we deep dive into that. If you're a business owner, okay, you might come to me and say, "Listen, my business is not working correctly," and we'll deep dive and find out what is it about you as the leader that is holding you back in your business. It could be your leadership skills. You belong somewhere else and you don't belong where you're at, and you need help in doing that. I am showing up as that kind of a coach. And technically speaking here, it's I'm helping personally. I'm helping that leader personally, okay? So, I'm not here to tell them that you're doing it right or you're doing it wrong. This is what you need to do. I don't even show up and tell them that I'm the expert at it. I sit and I listen, I hear what their concerns are, and then we deep dive, and I have a way of going way, way, way down here. Now, once they use that, like you said, beyond uh, what did you say earlier? Beyond the, reviews that I get. Well, that's a key indicator. You wanna find out about me and what do they do, go to those reviews. These are leaders that are coming and saying, "Listen, I need help. This is how Ken helped me." It could be something personal. I don't know how to listen correctly, or I'm not listening, or my team don't respect me, or it could be even something like, I don't wanna be around these people. I don't feel, all these things that are
Hmm.
showing up here. So,
That's
as far as
fair
your
enough. Yeah.
y yeah, okay.
But from what I heard, when you were explaining like different cases and they're so different. I mean, one is more towards career, the other one is related to business owners. I I am wondering, uh, what's your take? The industry is full of ultra specific niches now. Like there is burnout coaching, women in leadership,
Mhm.
inclusive leadership, founder coaching. So do you believe the future belongs to hyper specialists or to broad leadership generalists who can work across various teams?
Mm. So I'm a generalist. Although I am titled an executive and leadership coach, that's just a title. I will get on a call with you and ask you certain questions to see where you want to go. Basically, coaching is about what you want to create in your life. As a leader, what do you want to create? And we'll go diving deep and I'll ask you, why is that important? What have you tried? What have you not tried? What is your resistance and everything like that? Now, if you're looking for a specialist, like that's a health coach. That's what comes up here is a health coach. Okay, listen, I'm not exercising. I know I need to exercise. I need to lose 100 pounds. I don't know how to lose 100 pounds. Technically speaking, they can give you that information, but maybe there's something there that's mentally stopping you from wanting to go out and do these things here. And I can help in that aspect as well. But as far as specialized, I can set you up on this training program. We're going to go do this weight stuff together. We're going to learn how to eat properly. We're going to learn how to sleep properly and all that. That's not what I do. But that industry. Yes, that is very, very valuable. And that's something I do not do. So there are people that go to school for that, they go for training for that, and they got their own businesses that do that. So it's very, very valuable. So to ask that question, is it generally a generalist coach or specialist coach? Yes, in both categories.
All right. When we also speak about the therapy and the line between therapy and coaching,
Hmm.
for instance, International Coaching Federation is now pushing hard on, they said this is their priority in the next strategy to focus on diversity and inclusion and ethics. But we know at the same time, lots of people count coaching with burnout, anxiety, or deeper personal issues. So,
Hmm.
where do you personally draw the line between leadership coaching and therapy?
Okay. So great question. And I had that on my website. It's a simple couple of words that explains the difference. Therapy dives into your past. And there might be some issues that that need to be diving into that. I do not do that. I don't hold any kind of medical degree. If we get into a coaching session and someone says to me, I feel like, I'm burned out, I can't take it anymore, my life's over, or something along those lines there, I never had this happen to me, just so you know, but I would stop that coaching and I would tell them, "Listen, I'm not the person. You need to reach out to the right people. You might need to deal with therapy. Hey, listen, I can't progress in my career because I'm still worried about what happened to me in my childhood, okay? Let me just explain this to you. Therapy dives into your past, okay? Coaching takes you from where you're at to where you want to go. That's what coaching is about creation. I never claimed to be a therapist. I don't claim to that. And if people want therapy, I'm not the right person that they're talking about there. Now, I will tell you this, Nadir. Do I have some clients that are in therapy? Absolutely. I never intermingle. I never question. Hey, listen, what are they telling you to do? Could you go back and share this, what I'm telling you to do? They are there for a reason, and I respect that. I respect that world. I don't have anything against that world, but I'm not there to take them and dive into their childhood or anything that, happened while they were growing up. I'm here to say, listen, this is where you're at. What's stopping you from getting there? Let's take a look at that.
That's super clear. Thanks for
Mm,
making it so, um,
mm.
for clarifying this and make,
Distinctive.
yeah.
Yep.
But when we speak about using AI tools into coaching, like transcripts, sentiment analysis, those dashboards, so suddenly handle a lot of sensitive data. So how what ethical lines want you cross with tech, and how
Uh,
transparent are you with clients about what's being recorded and analyzed?
uh, okay. I am very transparent because I the only thing that I have is AI tool is a note taker, a recording and note taker, and most people heard of it. It's one of the top companies out there. It's Fathom. You got OI, you got Otter, you got all those there. I use Fathom just for the purpose of going back and reviewing my recordings to see if there's something I could have said differently. I asked a different question when I should have asked a different question. And then when that is done, that coaching session's done and over with here, that is stored in my files. It doesn't get shared with anybody. That also, that recording and the summary notes are given to the person that I coach. Before anybody comes on and starts contacting with me in a coaching session, that message from Fathom will say, "Hey, you're going to be recorded. Are you okay with that?" And 99.9% of people said they have no problem with it here. I mean, that's today's world. If someone has a concern about that, they would let me know, and I immediately stopped the recording. I mean, for 2.5 years, I coached without any kind of recordings. I took mental notes, and I also wrote down notes and stuff here. But as far as ethical, it's never getting shared with anybody other than with the person I'm coaching and with myself.
Oh, all right. But let's deep dive further into the packaging coaching.
Mm. Mhm.
Uh, there are platforms, emerging platforms,
Mm.
which claim to be AI coaching platforms that can analyze conversations, track goals, and send personalized prompts.
Mhm.
What what specifically do you believe only a human leadership coach can do that AI will struggle to replicate in the next 5, 10 years?
Yeah. So that's a lot issue that's been coming up in the last year and a half about AI, and it's interesting. Because now everybody's getting onto that ship here. Okay, let's use AI coach and all that. A matter of fact, when I'm reaching out to these executives, some of them are even coming back. No, thanks, Ken. I have AI to coach, and I coach myself. And here's the difference. AI can go ahead and analyze this. Okay, let's just give you an example here. I am a president of this company. I want to move up as a CEO. What can I do? And AI will go out there and tell you, well, okay, here's all the steps you need to do. You might need to get more education. You might need to get more training and all that stuff. Okay. Difference between that and human coaching is that AI can't detect AI cannot detect what is really holding that person back. When I coach, believe it or not, I'm listening to you so deeply that I can hear the emotions behind the words that you are saying to me. And there's something that's deeper there that I will go after to say, listen, this is what you're saying, but this is what I'm hearing. AI cannot do that. AI is basically giving you instructions. Okay, you want to grow, you want to learn how to delegate. These are the steps how you delegate. When I ask that question, why aren't you delegating here? Or what's holding you back from delegating? AI will not ask you that. Okay, you want to delegate and you're having problems. Okay, this is what you need to do. AI won't ask you, well, where's your difficulty in that? Unless you tell AI, "That's my difficulty." Well, I don't know how to, but there might be some deeper things. So that's the difference between human and AI. People are gonna rely on AI, and AI is a great, great tool. I mean, I use it not in my coaching, but I use it in my marketing to give me some ideas of what I don't know about. But as far as a human interaction here, I am absolutely telling you right now that AI does not know how to dissect you, and I don't wanna use the word dissect, to hear what's truly going on and then give recommendations from that. Does that make sense, Nadir?
Absolutely, and I can absolutely concur with your words because I
Mhm.
experienced this firsthand with you being in your sessions,
Mhm.
and I understand what you're talking about. All right, um, but let's go back to the first day, or not day, maybe like the time when you thought about picking direction in your life or whom you want to be, and how you started this leadership coaching, how you came to this point.
Beautiful. Okay. Alright. I'll slow down a little bit. When I graduated from high school, I only had 2 careers. My first career was in the Air Force for 10 years. I got out of the Air Force after 10 years. I was unemployed for 6 months. I finally found a job locally about 10 miles away from where I'm currently residing at right now, and I was at that company for 30 years until I retired that position back in 2021. Back in the Air Force and back into that position, I grew exponentially in leadership positions, both the Air Force and in my corporate world. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I loved the opportunity that I could grow with the company. They recognized me as a leader. Was I perfect? Absolutely not. I had to learn a lot what it meant to be a leader, and especially the difference between the military and the corporate world as a leader. I made my mistakes. I learned a lot of things. My company, my current company, and in the Air Force, there, they gave me some tools. They gave me some programs. They sent me to some, you know, uh, trainings and stuff like that. But I always still needed more. So I started developing myself. Started reading books. I started going to my own workshops. I started doing all that myself. Still learning. But as I grew in each of those positions, higher up the ladder I went, the lonelier I felt. And what I mean by that is that you're expected as a leader to know a lot. You're expected, especially in the corporate world, not to let anybody see you sweat. If they put you in a high leadership position, you better perform, and you can't let anybody know that, you might be struggling. They pay you the high money to be that person for you, and you have to have that facade. You have to show up that way, and if you don't know, you don't let anybody else know that you don't know. I didn't like that. I didn't have anybody really above me because, the next level was my supervisor, then the owner of the company. They had their own worries they had to worry about, so there was nobody really there. So towards the end of my career at the corporate world, about maybe 3 years before I actually retired, I started coming into this coaching world. I started inquiring about what it was. I even hired a coach for me for myself. He was a life coach at the time, and, to see what it was like because I was struggling where I was at, and I thought maybe I needed to go outside my organization to figure this out. So I hired a life coach. And, it didn't work out, okay? I actually got totally turned off about it. Not the fault of the coach here, it's just that it was something I was different than what I expected. So, anyway, thank God the light in that tunnel still stayed lit for me because as I started getting closer to my retirement, I was diving more and more into the coaching. What it was, what is this thing? Or what can this be? How can it help? How can as a leader can this help? And I remember getting into some trainings with some people that coach all over the world. There are well-known names out there that coach all over the world. And I'll never forget this one person. His name is Rich Litvin. Um, he and another person, wrote a book called The Prosperous Coach, and they talked about how to not worry about getting a website, how to not worry about posting on link or posting on, Facebook every single day here. Just go out there and connect and coach. And I'll never forget, he gave a live demonstration one time, and he brought a leader up on a stage, and he asked her, he says, "What do you do?" And she says, "I am a professional coach." And he said, "For how long?" She said, "For 2.5 years." He goes, "Okay, great. What did you do before that?" She said, "I was a corporate leader for 20 years." And he said to her, and I'll never forget it like I just heard it for the first time today, "You were a coach for 22 years. I want you to understand, coaching is leadership. Leadership is coaching." And that insight right there just blew me away because when I was in leadership, I always thought I had to be the person train somebody, counsel somebody, mentor somebody, guide somebody here, and do that because I was the leader. Once I had that concept, I knew when I retired, I wanted to get into this coaching world. How did I get my start? 4 years ago, life coaching training came into my world, and I joined it, and I found out how to coach the proper way through life coaching based off of what already knew what coaching was or did not know what it was here. So I went through that training and I absolutely fell in love with it. Now, to get to your question, why leadership and executive coaching? Because I knew all along when we went through this training, you're not supposed to choose a niche. Just coach, 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 coach. Practice coaching, coach, 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 coach. And I did that. But I knew in the back of my mind, I wanted to be in the executive and leadership world because I was there and I knew that I needed help, but I was too afraid to ask or I was too egotistical to ask. And I know there's leaders out there who are in the same boat. And I talked to my coach. I do have a coach now. I've had him for 2 years right now and let him know I want to be in this world. What do I need to do? How do I do that? And he told me I was ready to get myself out there. And that's how, Nordir, that you came into my life here because you're a business owner, you're a leader. And I put myself out there and you said yes to this here. So I will go back to what I said in the beginning. I just have a title. That's it. I'm called an executive leadership coach because that's who I want to be. That's my avatar. I want to be out there doing that, but it's no different. If a person off the street wanted some coaching here, I would coach them the same way. Might be slightly different based off their, business, business desires and everything like that, but they're still a person. And this is why I'm in this executive and leadership world because what I went through for 40 years and what I know what leaders are going through right now.
This is so true. About loneliness, especially, I can relate to that a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was in my previous position, I was head of department in a large factory in a relatively small town. And I felt this pressure, not just when I was at work, that I have to be exemplary. Everyone is watching me.
Mhm.
I carried this pressure all the way in the city because I felt, okay, someone might see me, like observing, watching, and then this can all spread through rumors. And
Mhm.
even that didn't let me to breathe freely, so to say. So I do relate to that. But I want to ask you, when you say, and especially I like also your comment about that woman who was in the executive position and then it appears that she was coaching as well. I think it's especially feels like that when you as a leader do those one-on-ones with every employer or like direct
Right.
reports. But I want to ask you further about this loneliness feeling. Now when you're coaching, don't you feel at some point loneliness as well? I mean, listening to a lot of people about the problems and obviously giving back and helping out, but is it kind of puts you also into position where in many senses you need to hold yourself back and come, it's kind of like a service, so to say. uh, do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you the way I heard you say this here, okay? I'm a coach now. Am I lonely being in this world because I have experience in leadership here and I cannot share it with the person that's sitting on the other side of me because I don't want to tell them what to do. I want them to have their own insights. Is that where you're going with it? Is that you think it might be creating loneliness in me?
Yeah, does it, I mean, why leader is kind of lonely, it's one of the things
Mm,
that there are lots of direct reports, you just listen to them, trying to help them out, trying to keep
right.
yourself within certain norms and frames.
Right.
And is it continuing in this practice as well?
No, no. I mean, I absolutely love what I do. I have no lonely I work for myself. I'm a one-person show. I don't work for a coaching organization or anything like that. I don't have to report to anybody. I don't have to do what my boss tells me I have to do, how I have to show up. You gotta show up a certain way, and that's what most leaders have to face. All the way up, CEOs have the board of directors they have to report to, and, even though they're CEOs and they're the person in that organization, whether it's one organization or multi organizations, multi locations for that person, CEO still has to report to somebody. Okay. Here, I don't have to do that. Now, get back to the question I was asking you. I have a lot of experience in leadership. I have a lot of things, but my job is not to say, sit there, nor there, keep quiet and listen to how I handle it and it's going to work out for you. Okay. Because the way you think about it and the way I think about it is going to be two different ways. And the only way you're going to grow as a business owner and a leader in that business, as a business owner here, is that you're going to understand, I need to do this my way. I needed to do it this way, and this is how I'm going to do that, and I think it's might work here. Now, here, I will tell you this. Although I have a plethora amount of leadership skills within me for, whatever the characteristic, delegation, problem solving, communication, any of that stuff here. If something comes up in a coaching conversation that you're stuck on, I will ask permission. Hey, listen, I had maybe something, I possibly have something similar that happened to me. Would you like me to share that with you? And you would say, "Yes, you would like me to share that with you." But and ultimately, and I'm not there to tell you, "Well, this is the way I did it. This is how this is the way you need to do it." I'm here to share what I did. You could go ahead and take that information the way you wanna do it. So, no, it's to go back to your original question, it is not lonely. This is the world I wanna be here. I am so at home what I'm doing right now because I know even at the CEO level, not every leader knows everything. They may think they do, but they don't. And if they took the time and stop looking like they have to know all the answers and they want to get into their leadership and they you want their team to respect them, they want their team to follow them, they got to figure out how to go ahead and do that. And that's what I'm here to do. And that is so awesome to me.
Thank you, Ken,
Mhm.
that to this question. And I want to speak more and deep dive more into your current challenges. We started with how you started and what was in the past. But
Mhm.
today, running this leadership coaching business, what kind of challenges do you face?
Great question, and I'm gonna answer it this way. Maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago, before I hired my own coach, um, the challenge was, how do I get clients? How do I get clients? And going back to Rich Litvin and C. Chandler's book, The Prosperous Coach, which they teach you right off the bat, you're not out trying to get clients. You have to create clients. And how do you create clients? You bring people to you and you show them what you're made of and how you coach and let them accept that. You asked me what are my challenges right now, and I can't really say uh, I don't have challenges. I have the mindset I'm going to reach out to whoever I want to reach out to. How I do that, and if you accept it, you want to get on a call with me, then what I'm doing is working. I am not expected to reach out to 200 people per day, which, I don't do that. I reach out, and if 5, 10 of the leaders get back to me and say, "I'm interested here," I've done my job. A year, 2 years ago, "Wow, why can't I get these? Why can't I create these why can't I get these clients? I wanna be a multimillionaire. Why can't I do that?" And that just stopped me in my business. That just stopped my growth. It made me back then, the challenge was here, is this even worth it here because I can't get clients. But being coached myself and understanding what the process is, I had to slow down and I had to do the steps that I need to do it. And I continued to do the same steps over and over and over again. Is it a slow process? Absolutely. But I will tell you this. Not only are the people getting on these calls with me to find out who I am, how I coach and everything, I'm also getting on the calls with them to see if they're coachable and if I want to coach them or not. We're both vetting each other out, and that's a process you have to go through. If you rush it, if you get too deep too fast into it, you might wind up bringing people on that you don't even wanna bring on, and you might wind up bringing people on that are not coachable down the road here, and you're wasting all that time, and that there is a challenge in itself here.
I
So
can
you asked
imagine
me.
I can
Yeah,
imagine
go ahead.
it's in this kind of business it's a lot about trust. And when you say about not rushing and
Right.
keeping the patience with this, I think this is especially tricky with this kind of thing where the trust is kind of like the ultimate decider in the beginning, especially.
Yeah. No, there, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, based off of what we're having a conversation about in this moment here, why did you say yes to me? Why did you say, "Yes, I will go ahead and do some coaching sessions with you"?
Not that I understood at that point that
Mm.
I need some kind of coaching. At that point, I didn't understand why would I need coaching, to be honest.
Mhm.
But my other side is I'm building a startup. I'm innovator. So I I'm challenging status quo. I'm quite often I'm asking questions. Why is it like this, or why not?
Mhm.
And so here I saw the opportunity. Why not to try and see what happens? Because my this is my character. I'm experimenting. So
Mhm.
here I decided, okay, let me try and experiment and let's see what happens.
Mhm.
That was my initial motivation. Of course, when we started working together, then I saw other things that I haven't seen. But in the beginning, in the first place, it wasn't really coming out of desperation or out of kind of need, so to say.
Mhm. Coaching with me. What about me that you said yes, that you're still with me?
I think we're starting coaching session, right? Well, it's really maybe not very unique, so to say, but it's working. When it comes to trust, building trust,
Mhm.
it's working here because um, you try, you see, you have kind of better understanding how things look like, and then eventually, when there is a decision, kind of whether we should continue, whether we should go on, it's so much easier to make it because you
Mhm.
already saw this. You already have another level of trust. So I think this is the first reason, the first and main reason why I'm continuing with you. Because first of all,
Mhm.
I felt that I can trust you,
Mhm.
and secondly, obviously, you are doing brilliant job with uh, catching. Because quite often I might not be good in communications. I might not be so clear in what I want
Mhm.
and what is actually happening.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's unique to me or it's kind of common across people in the leadership positions, because I felt
Mhm.
when you're in leadership position, you have to be, you're putting mask that everything is cool and you have to be kind of stoic.
Mhm. So that was that felt like a coaching questions, but and it was. The point is, you keep bringing back to it here. I didn't think I needed it. I didn't know what it was. I didn't really understand it, and that's what most leaders do. I don't think I need to have this until they find out they need to have it. And my favorite saying is here, no one needs coaching. When people ask me, why should I coach? I don't tell them you need coaching. I tell them, do you want to experience it and see if it's for you or not? Okay. So you built the reason why you're still with me is exactly why I do what I do, because you trust that I could do that. So let's bring it back to the AI. Let me ask you this question, Nordir, okay? It's this question here. You just explained to me why you're still with me. Do you think if you asked AI those questions, you'd be still working with AI as as a coach for me? Would that recognize what you were going through with me? Would it recognize it on that platform? What do you think?
Well, no way. No way.
Yeah.
Um, I it's not just about capabilities of detecting emotional variations and understanding the root cause of the problem.
Mhm.
It's just sometimes simply human to human connection,
Yep.
and there is a lot of non-verbal things.
Mhm.
And no matter how smart is AI, these non-verbal things, this is no way it can be replaced. And even when we speak right now, we minimized other kind of dimensions of
Mhm.
communication. We have here audio only, but still there is a lot of non-verbal here in the way we
Mhm.
speak, in the tonality, and so many other things which are
Mhm.
non-verbal. So, and we know very well that there is different numbers, but like 92% of communication between people is nonverbal. And I think this is the key here, and which is not
Mhm.
only impacting the leadership coaching, but many other trades and professions.
Mhm.
And this is also why it motivated me also to actually start with this podcast series to bring up and highlight those
Mhm.
human sides of many traits, and especially those which are requiring human touch. And obviously, we don't say that we are against AI, but
Mhm.
it's kind of collaboration, but it's never a full replacement.
Mhm.
But Ken, I really like how you switched to asking questions to me on this podcast.
Right.
Uh, well, that's absolutely fine. I mean, this is
Mhm.
just natural conversation, and this is how it's meant to be. But we approaching the the time limit, the end, mean
Mhm.
for this podcast, and I know you also will have to go soon.
Mm.
So let's move to our final part, which is kind of like rapid fire questions.
Oh, sure.
So I will ask you a couple of questions, and whatever is on top of your mind, just shoot it.
Okay.
All right. What is one business book, podcast, or online course that has had the most significant impact on how you run your business?
Heroic LLC, otherwise known as Heroic Coach. That's one. Another one is The Ultimate Coach. If you haven't read the book, I highly suggest it, The Ultimate Coach. Who are you being as a person? Your state of being. That was very impactful for me as well too. And I still read the book. I still practice it. I still share it with other people. So Heroic LLC, or otherwise known Heroic Coach, and The Ultimate Coach.
Great. Next question. If you could recommend one piece of software or physical tool that you simply can't run your business without today.
AI. AI note taker, and it's very, very, very valuable for me here. So I absolutely any conversation because you get the chance to go back and see what you could have done better. You get to evaluate yourself. So that's great.
All right. So, thinking about all the lessons you've learned throughout your life, what's the single most valuable piece of advice you would give to someone just starting out in leadership coaching today?
Okay. There's something called stimulus and response. I've heard it in multiple leadership and self-development books. In between the stimulus, the event, there is a gap to the response. And the most valuable thing I could tell anybody, and I do this with myself and I practice it every day, whatever event that is showing up to you, take 5, 10 seconds, don't say anything, walk away, pause, before you overreact and cause some serious, serious damage in relationships moving forward. Stimulus and response. I'll say it again, stimulus and response. If you feel that whatever's being said to you, you feel those emotions and recognize those emotions, that it's gonna make you mad, it's gonna make you upset, pause before you say or act on anything like that. I share that all the time. I share it with my clients, and I practice it on a daily basis.
All right. And finally, where can our listeners find you and learn more about your work?
Okay, thank you for asking. They could actually go to my website, kenaltenbach.com. That's KenAltenB as in boy, ACH.com. My phone number is 570 912 5140. You can call, you could leave a message to reach out to me. You could also reach me on WhatsApp at the same number as well too. So you could reach out to me on that. My email address, if you want to reach out to me, is ken@kenaltenbach.com. And I wanted to let all your listeners know, Nordir, that if they're listening to this message, and if you ever thought about coaching and you want to experiment with it, or not experiment, I'm sorry, you want to learn more about how I can coach, you can go to my website, but there's nothing comparable to actually being in front of somebody and asking questions. I would love to connect with anybody who's thinking about I'm talking about leaders and executives. Get on a call with me. Just ask your questions, and if it's for you, great. Then we can set up some calls, and I always offer 2, 3 pro bono calls without the pressure of being sold to or that you have to continue with me, no obligation whatsoever. So, if you're thinking about it, just get on a call with me, experience it, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you. Today, our guest was Ken Altenbach in the episode of Irreplaceable by AI. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for having me today, Nadir. This was awesome. Great conversation.